What's going on, everyone? Talon back here, and today it is time for a discussion because everyone is trying to gear up for what is potentially going to be pretty big over these next couple of months, or at least by the time December gets around here. So what I wanted to do, and this is going to apply for both global and JP, more on the JP side of things, but also covering stuff that global that we think you're going to get, but things again could be changed around because, you know, global likes to randomly change orders sometimes. So we'll have to wait and see. But without further ado, I wanted to talk about kind of what we can expect, I think, or I think what most people would expect for the next couple of months going into the Dragon Ball Super movie that will be coming out. Will they be taking advantage of those banners, and how? What is coming up for year 4? Because yeah, as you guys know, at least on JP, year 4 is just around the corner right after the new year. So it's going to be interesting. So I want to kind of compare what we had last year around this time, and then think about what we could potentially be getting with a new, Dragon Ball Super Broly stuff coming out. And then just overall, what are your honest opinions? What do you think is going to happen? And also, I guess, what you should really be saving your stones for if you are more of a free-to-play player right now. Me personally, if you guys haven't been knowing, I haven't been doing as many summons ever since the 250 million download celebration. I did my main summons. I got like my Turles and everything, but I didn't really go for the LR, Goku, and Frieza. Still haven't pulled them, and I was just like, whatever, it is what it is. I did one summon on it, and that was it. I did one summon on the Booze banner. That was basically it. So November, very hard to say about if we're even going to get a Dokkan Fest. We, obviously usually we do, but there might be a chance that we don't. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second about why I think we could potentially not get a Dokkan Fest actually for the month of November and kind of get some more filler banners, still maybe get an EZA in there. Obviously, we're going to have a free-to-play LR and everything. But so anyway, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let's jump right into what we know so far, okay? So around this time last year, we are about right here, give or take, okay? Now note the end times. I'm looking more at the end dates, okay? Now this is, of course, in November. So back in, October, all of this stuff here was kind of ending. But of course, the whole UI Goku kind of threw things out of balance, I think, personally, because, that was when it aired and everything. And then this guy came around about the same time, the whole physical Vegito, the very first time he did come around. But then after that, we had basically a bunch of filler banners throughout much of November. And then we finally got into the Dragon Ball Heroes banner, which I think came out mid-November, give or take, if I am correct on that one. And then we got the normal Christmas banner here. And, we're going to go into details about that in just a second. And then eventually we got into year 4. So one thing I definitely want to talk about first, though, that I know obviously we're going to be getting, because by the time most of you will be watching this, it's, the last week of October. We're going into November of 2018. I can't believe we're almost about to hit 4 years of this game. And then, we're going to go from there. So as we already know, because we've covered this and I translated all of the V-Jump stuff when it came out, is we're going to free-to-play Goku. Wow. No, we don't need another Goku right now. A Super Saiyan Vegito who's going to be Extreme Int. You're basically going to run a Pure Saiyans category team. You're not going to... I don't know what his leader skill is really going to be, but you're not going to put him on an Extreme Int team. I'll test him out personally on Super Battle Road, but... this guy, is already not going to link with Extreme Int, because as to my knowledge, except for him coming out soon, no other Extreme Int characters aside from Turles, I think, which is just a support unit, is a Saiyan type character, prepare for battle, Super Saiyan, that kind of stuff. So, we still don't even know at the time of this recording what this Vegeta is supposed to do. Hopefully we get a data download either in the next couple of days or the following week. Again, we're not really sure what's going on. We haven't even seen anything for a Dokkan Fest thing, but I'm going to get into that, why I think we potentially don't get a Dokkan Fest, or if we do, it is a very small Dokkan Fest that I would highly recommend skipping, especially if you have to save the stones, okay? So at the time of this, around this time last year is when we also started seeing the Dragon Ball Heroes banner that finally came back to JP. It only comes around about once a year, give or take. So a lot of us are expecting that it could potentially come back. It drops some units that are not necessarily OP or anything like that. Like you're not required to have them. They don't make the most overpowered teams or anything like that. But I guess Darkness Toa and SSJ3 Gohan, they were good cards. I'm not saying none of the Dragon Ball Hero cards are bad. There's, it's something like, okay, if you skip it, yeah, unfortunately miss out on it, but it is a cool opportunity to do. I personally think that if there is no Dokkan Fest unit, we are going to get this banner back, or at least the Dragon Ball Fusions banner, which honestly I'm surprised Dragon Ball Fusions isn't just in every single banner these days, as unfeatured units. I kind of wish it was. But at least on the JP side of things, I know Dragon Ball Heroes could potentially come out here, especially because this is the whole 7th anniversary at the time, last year. And we're coming up on the 8th of the anniversary, and we're supposed to have Super Saiyan 4 Vegito coming out in the next couple of days, I believe on the 28th of October. So I guess next week, but nonetheless, you guys get the idea. Anyway, so I would not be surprised if Dokkan does do another banner for Dragon Ball Heroes. And again, that's going to be next week, which is at the very beginning of November as well. So that is why I personally think that we're not going to get a Dokkan Fest unit. Now, I'm just taking a wild guess. We could easily say, Talon, what are you talking about, man? We always get Dokkan Fest units. They're going to come out no matter what. And it just simply wasn't shown in the V-Jump or anything like that. Again, I'm just taking wild guesses here. No one really knows for sure, okay? And then after that, we had the SSJ3 Bardock, which I guess was a November release, but actually, that was a one-time freeze. It did return. So actually, we could potentially get something more towards the end of November instead. Again, I'm just taking a wild guess here. But this banner was all the way until the 19th of December. And if I remember correctly, it came out at the end of November, technically, which is usually the time that most Dokkan Fest banners come out. So that right there still left November as more of a, okay, we had the physical Vegito, if we look back at the schedule here. But other than that, that ended on, oh wait, hang on. Yeah, physical Vegito ended on the 16th. But I think most of us were still occupied by the UI Goku, so not a lot of people went for this banner, even though physical Vegito's, obviously one of the most powerful TURs in the entire game still to this day. But nonetheless, it is what it is. But anyway, so then after that, we got into Christmas time, which is then when we got the Tapion here, which is, of course, bringing back the Santa Roshis and everything. And when you look at this banner, it was a double rates banner with the Dokkan Fest unit in it, funny enough. And then after that is also when you got the LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku thrown into there. And then New Year's came along, and we got the Rose and we got the Vegito Blue, the new ones, the Tech and the STR ones. And then those went from the 29th or something like that of December, which is very, very close to New Year's, obviously. And then it went away on the 17th. And then about a month later is when we started seeing information, and we had the Year 4 Dokkan Fest LRs, Vegito and Gogeta come out, okay? So, again, it was still kind of, it was your typical normal schedule that we saw for banners and everything, but November was definitely one of those more special times. And notice that, yes, I did skip all of the category banners, right? Because those come back all the time when it comes to this category stuff. So, we could see a random Super Saiyan 3 banner come back again that doesn't have the Bardock in it, but maybe finally introduces those two SSJ3 Vegetas that have been on Global for a while now, and then they come out on the JP or something like that. I mean, who knows? We really don't know. But one thing that I definitely do think that we will possibly be seeing is, again, Dragon Ball Heroes when it comes to this kind of stuff. And then obviously we're going to have the free-to-play LR. And then I would imagine, I'm again taking a wild guess here, I would imagine we are going to see some kind of Extreme Z Awakening for somebody in mid to late November, okay? So if I had to, again, kind of put a guess on dates here, this will be coming out next week, potentially, along with the free-to-play LR, or again, a week after that, or a few days after that, whatever the little celebration calendar will show us. And then eventually and then about the mid-time or so is when we'll get some kind of EZA banner. If I had to take a wild guess, Tech Beerus. There's my guess for Tech Beerus being the next one to get his EZA. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why in the world I would pick one of the most hated cards that I just totally dislike. Honestly, I don't know, hard to say. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, and then we'll probably get a Christmas banner. Now, this is where we are obviously getting into the Dragon Ball Super stuff. Now, first off, I'm going to hold off on Global for a second because, as you guys know, around the world, or at least major parts of the world, I know like the US, parts of Europe, they are getting a mid-January release date for the new Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, okay? Japan, on the other hand, is having their movie released on the 14th. Got my day one tickets. It's going to be awesome. Don't worry, I won't spoil anything on there, but I would keep away from Twitter or like the internet itself for the month if you want to stay away from spoilers. Anyway, so getting back on track here, though. Movie comes out on the 14th, which is a Friday. So I could easily see this kind of double rates Christmas banner kind of stuff coming out at the beginning of December, like we usually would see. Get your Santa Roshis if you do a multi or two and all that fun stuff. But then the big question is, what happens with the movie? Will there be a movie banner? Because the thing that we start to run into is that literally 2 weeks later, after that movie arrives, we then get the New Year's banner that we've always gotten. 2 years ago, it was the Future Trunks and the Merge Zomas. Last year, obviously, was the Tech Vegito Blue and the STR Rose. And New Year's, they generally like to have something pretty big. And obviously, it was a step up from going from the Trunks and the Murzamas up to the Vegito Blue and the Rose. But nonetheless, New Year's has always been a big thing. So I almost wonder if we will still get a double rates banner with the usual Santa Roshis and everything for whatever, maybe some extra LR that they throw in there or something like that. We'll get that at the beginning. And then after the movie has come out, and if you guys remember last year, because I remember I was back home in the States, it's literally the day of Christmas or the next day technically in Japan, we will get news about a Dragon Ball Super Broly movie banner probably being the New Year's time. Now, I could also be wrong and say that the moment the movie is released here in Japan on the 14th, we're going to get some kind of Dokkan Fest banner or some kind of special banner for the movie, and we'll have SSG God, Goku, Vegeta, a new Broly, and whatever the case may be. But it almost makes you wonder, though, will they make, and this is actually my question to you guys as well, will they make the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie banner? Because you know they're going to milk that thing like no tomorrow. Is it going to be a Dokkan Fest exclusive, or will it be something that we will see on every single banner, or in the middle? Do you think it's going to be a Dokkan Fest type card, kind of like the AGL Tapion right here, but we won't, you can then pull it on every single banner because, again, the movie, you want people to bring the money and everything like that. And depending on what forms they're potentially in, they can also then put those cards onto the category banners. So, for example, an SSG Vegeta and an SSG Goku, if they've got new cards for that, you can put that on a Realm of Gods banner, essentially, kind of like the Super Saiyan 3 one right here. You can go ahead and do that. So, it makes me wonder, will it be something similar to this? And then, again, they also throw in the Santa Roshis. They could easily do that. They easily could. It's really hard to say. I personally, again, just my personal opinion, I personally don't think we will see a Dokkan Fest banner, though, at the beginning of December until we know more information right as the movie releases or potentially right after Christmas. Because you have to remember, Christmas is not a very big holiday here in Japan. It's more of going out on dates and just, hanging out with your friends, essentially. It's basically New Year's in the States, and then you flip it, essentially. New Year's in Japan is huge, as you guys probably already know. So that's why I personally see that if they don't do anything right away as the movie releases, then they could potentially do it at New Year's. Because maybe, who knows? I mean, Japan's very big when it comes to spoilers and everything. They spoil everything for themselves. But at the same time, they could potentially try not to spoil it. Maybe we get some kind of, little itty-bitty story mode thing with the movie in mind. And then it's like, oh, by the way, you're getting a banner like on Christmas or right after Christmas, right before New Year's or whatever the case may be. And then, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So, because then after that, if you guys remember, when, again, this stuff ended on the 17th with the Rose and the Vegito Blue, about a month later, started seeing information about the LR Vegito and Gogeta. So, they have to obviously have something for New Year's. They have to potentially have something small for Christmas. And that's why I'm personally thinking that, again, November is going to be a very kind of slow filler type month. Obviously, with an Extreme EZA in there. Obviously, the free-to-play LR with the Vegeta. But a Dokkan Fest unit, I honestly don't think is coming. What are my personal opinions, though? Because I know everyone's going to be asking as well. What do you spend your stones on? Honestly, skip everything in November. Just skip everything in November. That's what I'm personally doing. Unless Dragon Ball Heroes comes back, I might throw a 50, just simple multi in there. Because usually those Dragon Ball Hero banners had, like the first two multis are like guaranteed one of the 3 featured units that are on there. And those units generally don't return until the next year, essentially. So, and I guess it all depends on what they do. At the time, we all thought like Darkness Toa was actually a really good unit, and she's still a really good unit. She's one of the best AGL support units or just extreme support units to this day still. But, unfortunately, this stuff will not come to global. As you guys know, Dragon Ball Heroes has not really been... It kind of tried to whittle into the pool, essentially, and when it came to the arcade machines that were going around parts of the states, and then they kind of just backed out all of a sudden with no explanation, essentially. I know we had that Switch game coming out, which, by the way, I'll have a video on that probably tomorrow. But I don't personally see this coming to global. So if I had to say again, though, in terms of what you save your stones for, wait until December. Skip everything in November. Even, they're not going to release the most overpowered cards in November. They're just not going to do it, okay? Skip all of those banners. Maybe you throw a single, once a week or something like that as you save your stones. But wait until those stones can be used for a better banner. And then when Christmas comes, do not go for the double rates banner until we get more information on a Dragon Ball Super Broly banner, because if it is simply just going to be in every other banner then, and you maybe want to throw a multi there, I would say, okay, go ahead for the Broly, because then if it is like that and the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie banner is not Dokkan Fest exclusive, then I don't think it's really gonna be, they're not gonna be overpowered cards. Like, they're gonna be good, obviously, right? They gotta milk it, they gotta bring the people in to use the stones, use their money to buy stones, but they're not gonna make them overpowered, and especially if they're in every single banner, you'll get them eventually, right? Yeah, I know people are gonna be all hyped up and everything about it, but I would personally say to skip that banner. I know you might be going crazy going, Talon, what the F are you talking about? Skipping Dragon Ball Super Broly banners? Just hear me out on that one again by saying that if it is not Dokkan Fest exclusive, only throw a couple multis at it and don't waste your stones, because you know New Year's is going to have a double Dokkan Fest type banner, or at least a good Dokkan Fest banner for the New Year's celebration, because again, New Year's is a huge deal here in Japan, and it's going to be bigger than Christmas, okay? So, which is why, again, I personally think that if they are going to make the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie banner, or whatever that banner turns out to be, a Dokkan Fest type banner, that will be pushed to the end of the year, essentially, okay? Again, just a couple weeks after the movie comes out here in Japan. Now, going to Global here, though. Global, there's one card in particular that you guys have not gotten that a lot of people have been waiting for, but there's no news on it, and you skipped it, and you got the Android 17 instead. And, oh, by the way, you still have the feature Gohan to go for, but it is Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. While not the strongest card by any means, his category is just filled to the brink with units like no tomorrow. And a lot of people want to go for him, and a lot of people are predicting that potentially you get something in November, which then still gives you December, and then going into January, I then see Global getting that banner. I do not, and I'm going to repeat this again, I do not see Global and JP getting the Dragon Ball Super Broly banners at the exact same time, simply because if they go by the release date of the movie, or even if, again, it's only pushed 2 weeks after on JP for the whole New Year's thing, I do not see them I don't see Global and JP doing it together, simply because it could potentially, quote unquote, spoil the movie some way or another if Global got the banner early. You guys will probably get it just a couple of weeks after January 1st, again, when the movie releases. I think it's the 16th, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's when I personally think you'll do it. So if Vegeta Blue is the November Dokkan Fest for you guys over on Global, throw a few multis at it. You know, I definitely think he's worth it, but do note that he does come back pretty, not that far after that. And then save your stones for whatever Dragon Ball Broly brings along, or just, again, save past that, because, and then again, especially on JP, we'll have year 4 coming up, which generally they do give us a lot of decent amount of stones at least, and, obviously first place in the store and everything. But again, I'm going to obviously just in the end say, guys, whether you buy stone, unless you are, I guess, a whale like some people, or you can buy stones because you just have the money for it, then I guess summon wherever you want, right? And in the end, guys, this is not me telling you that if you summon, then you're a bad person or anything like that. But I'm just saying, if you're somebody who has to save your stones, then skip all of November. Wait to see what we get with the whole Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Again, Global, you can kind of be a little bit more freely with your stones, and kind of wait to see what January throws your way, or just wait to see what happens with JP and be like, oh, well, JP only got this, so Global's not going to get that at all, or it's not going to get any better. So, but again, wait until December, see what the movie banner potentially brings, or whatever New Year's brings along, and then I would say spend your stones. And then one little final note that I will make on the banners when it comes to New Year's is that be careful, because remember last year where this SSJ3 Broly was in his TUR form, and if you spent the stones on here within the first hour, and then they took the banners away, and then they brought it back with the correct art, that's considered false advertisement here in Japan. And if you summoned on that banner at all, you got all your stones back. So if you ever see a mistake in a banner, guys, make sure you summon on that banner, and then you'll get all your stones back, okay? So anyway, guys, so that overall is just my personal opinion. Again, we're getting the LR Super Saiyan Vegeta here in the next week or so. Probably getting a data download in a few days as well. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think is going to be coming, whether it's Global or JP? Give me the order. Give me what you're going to be summoning on and everything. Again, me personally right now, I've got 117 stones saved up on my account. Not touching them until I know exactly what is coming out in December. Again, maybe I'll do a single if there is a Dokkan Fest in November. But again, I don't think we're going to get one. I honestly don't. I know it's technically the normal schedule and everything, but hey, things can change sometimes. Something else comes out, or they kind of wait on it, especially with Dragon Ball Heroes. They're not going to make Dragon Ball Heroes a Dokkan Fest unit or anything like that, but I could definitely see that taking the place of a Dokkan Fest card, and I can still bring in people because, again, it's a celebration and everything. So Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. As always, leave a like if you liked the video. Subscribe if you happen to be new. And until next time, everyone, I'll see you all in the next one.